Hi, it's Sunday morning and it's the 9th of March 2025. A gunman was shot outside the White House, as Secret Service reveals. Shooter's dark secret. The gunman was shot by Secret Service members after being spotted with a firearm just outside the White House at midnight on Saturday. So that was yesterday. The armed man from Indiana parked his vehicle on 17th and G Street, just a stone throw away from the president's home, and was walking around the streets with a gun. Secret Service agents revealed that the shooter held a dark secret, as he had been suicidal before making the journey from his home state to the Capitol on Saturday. President Trump was at his Mar-a-Lago home in Florida, playing golf, when the ordeal took place. When agents found the suicidal man, he started brandishing his firearm, which triggered an armed confrontation just feet away from the White House. The man, who has not been identified, was rushed to the hospital with his injuries. The Secret Service members were unharmed during the incident. Anthony Guglielmi, Chief of Communications for the U.S. Secret Service, said on Sunday morning, Secret Service personnel were involved in a shooting following an armed encounter with a person of interest shortly after midnight on March 9th at 17th and G Street. So shortly after midnight, yes, that took us back into the 9th, which is early this morning. And now there's also a lot of interesting things going on with Israel. USA also warned of Caribbean becoming a Chinese lake. A Chinese lake? How can the Caribbean become a Chinese lake? Are they going to go fishing in this lake? We'll have to check further to see exactly what they think. And again, we're just checking some more information on Israel and the hostages, because nothing has made a difference yet to Hamas. Hamas is still refusing to let the hostages go. As we all know, that President Trump told Hamas that they should release the hostages, or there's going to be serious penalty to pay, because Israel is armed and ready, and that could remove the ceasefire that is currently in place. That's avoiding a lot of death and mayhem. Another thing in the news: anger at Musk turns violent with Molotov cocktails and gunfire at the Tesla lots. Tariffs could help him by hurting rivals more. The federal workers are gripped by mental health instability amid the cuts, and fears social security system could collapse. The Homeland is now performing polygraph tests on employees to find leakers. I suppose they don't want everything going out, so they have to stop out those leaks, so it doesn't go out to the press prematurely. It will go out, but not prematurely. And Israel is fighting in Syria, and we wonder why she is in Syria. But today, that situation still goes on in Syria. And I'm checking here to see if there are any details on that Syrian situation that's going on. And then there's talk of invading Canada. And experts are saying invading Canada could spark guerrilla fight, lasting decades. And there's a military flag flies in the frozen north a struggle for the Arctic eats up. Apparently, in the Arctic of Canada, Russia, China, everyone seems to want it. Maybe that's why some people here are jumping ahead and saying, we want you to become one of the United States. The USA is going to cease all future military exercises in Europe. North Korea has unveiled a new powered sub for the first time. And then you know that in Saudi Arabia they had this futuristic city, the city of Neom. And everybody's wondering now what went wrong at Saudi Arabia, futuristic metropolis in the desert. Because that particular city, I think you could just walk out and say apples. And the apples, somebody would just bring apples for you to buy. It was one of those futuristic cities, all powered by AI. And then 48 hours of hell is going on in Syria. 1,000 slaughtered. Women paraded naked. Again, 48 hours of hell in Syria. 1,000 has been slaughtered. Women paraded naked. Now, if that is going on in Syria, that's really that has to be shut down by our president. I'm sure he's going to say something about that. USA is headed towards hospital bed shortages. Now, we can't afford to have bed shortages in our hospitals because we make beds here. We don't have to import them. So, again, it's very frightening what's happening in Syria. I have to repeat that. 48 hours of hell in Syria. 1,000 slaughtered. Women paraded naked. Can you imagine? Recently, a woman paraded naked on one of the airlines too. And she was running from one end of the aisle to the other. And I think in her running back and forth, I think people are frightened because she was naked to grab her, to hold her, you know. That in itself could present a problem. So she spent quite a few minutes displaying the crazes and running back and forth. However, they finally was able to take over, manage her. But think of someone naked and you're trying to want to hold them down. You don't want to touch their sensitive areas or private parts. So anyway, eventually she was overcome and removed from the plane. I'm sure she'll be charged. And so we're going to get back to you with more news because we want to see what is definitely happening in Syria. You know, I think in Syria now there are 3 factions. There is the leader that just took over, and then there is Israel and the U.S. So it's a very tough situation, but we're going to do a follow-up on that and see what happens for the rest of the day. So again, happy Sunday, and any more updates on things, I will bring you up to date.